Today is observed as the International Labour Day. The day dedicated to workers and labourers across the world was absent at the usual march pasts, barbecues and drinking parties because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Cry, the beloved GALIM village in the Bambutos division of the West region as armed men attacked the Mefung control post, killing 4 soldiers and leaving 1 begging for life in the hospital. Good evening and welcome to the 7:30 News. I am Benin Bumagana in Yaoundé.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
Employers, workers and unionists in Cameroon have been called upon to build a smooth and supportive working environment where everyone is in good health and workers' rights respected. The Minister of Labour and Social Security was speaking during a live chat on CRTV's Facebook to mark the 135th edition of the International Labour Day. Natasha Lehman brings highlights of that chat.
The online rendezvous with workers and stakeholders through the live chat on CRTV web Facebook was an occasion for the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregoire Owona, to deliver his Labour Day message. On the same platform, he responded to some issues bothering workers. The Labour Minister equally gave guidelines to be followed by employers, workers and trade unions in order to guarantee the safety of workers, build a smooth and supportive working environment where everyone is in good health. A question and answer session which lasted for about 1 hour 45 minutes focused on topics such as social dialogue at the workplace, safety and rights of employees. The exchange was caused reporter and editor-in-chief of CRTV Web, Elvis Mbimba, and Josiana Form, journalists working with Mutation.
Happy Labour Day.
Happy Labour Day, Mr. Minister. Workers across the national territory today observed the 135th edition of the International Labour Day under the theme, The World of Work and COVID-19 Pandemic. Our reporter Joy Starter says the city of Yaoundé, unlike the previous years, was quiet. Her report.
Lonely streets void of the usual effervescence every May 1, International Labour Day. 2021's edition of celebration on banners, footsteps slower for the COVID-19 pandemic is no joking matter. March pass or not, for some it is a day worth celebrating in a different way.
The celebration should be internal, so we have just decided to go and visit our chairman. So that is why you see us standing at the juncture preparing to take a car to go to Soa.
Before COVID-19, the 1st of May was a very happy day.
At the state broadcaster, some made their way to their duty stations well dressed with enthusiasm to work even a little more on such a day. Aside from the wining and dining, enterprises heads also sent congratulating messages to staff for their continuous input. Ludovic is a little saddened with this year's turnout and consoles himself by working on customer shoes earlier collected. A calm May 1 celebration to avert the spread of the deadly coronavirus disease, not pleasing to many, but a necessity for all.
Administrative and technical staff of the Yaoundé Teaching Hospital for Applied Research, Endoscopic Surgery and Human Reproduction, CRASE, have been trained on business management and relations with the public. The one-day capacity building seminar by experts was organized as part of Labour Day activities this year. Staff Lady Enanga KB reports.
Since the inauguration of the hospital center Krasser by Mrs. Chantal Bia, the constant search for better services, expert care and quality results has been on the rise. With focus on the health of women, children, and, of course, procreation, Krasser has been making news.
The aim of this institution is to offer to the society the best. Working here is different of what you see elsewhere. For example, you approach differently here.
Though the medical team headed by Professor Jean-Marie Cassia is more on the spotlight, a lot takes place in the background with the majority of workers whose role in the progress of the hospital cannot be ignored.
We practice medicine in another manner. For example, we are going to operate the same disease, but in a different manner. And I think this is best for our population. Cameroon population has the right to benefit from good practice.
Deliberating on how to encourage transparency in the management of the hospital, ensure the regular maintenance of the equipment, ameliorate the working conditions of the workers, institute team spirit, adopt a participatory approach, as well as promote training, will go a long way to obtain the objective of the hospital center.
Okay, now let's go over to Douala in the littoral and then to Garoua in the north regions to see how the International Labour Day was observed. The reporters say there was no match pass or feasting in the different enterprises. Here are the details.
For the second year running, COVID-19 foils the fanfare of Labour Day at the Beseke ceremonial ground, the hotspot for all national public manifestations in Douala. No match pass, no placards, no room to show off fabrics and so on. The regional delegation for Labour and Social Security marked the day with activities that keep the health safe.
When you practice sport, you can avoid some diseases and diabetes, high blood.
The Douala City Council on her part opted to mark this year's Labour Day by saying thank you to its workers, and this is made manifest by handing over to them symbolic packs of fabrics and kits like jotas, t-shirts, umbrellas and bonds worth 10,000 CFA francs. Several companies in the economic capital went low-key during this year's Labour Day to hearken to the call of government, that of respecting barrier measures to minimize the spread of COVID-19.
The streets, commercial centers and other venues of the north are observed to bustle as usual, with workers going about their daily activities. The absence of the usual commemorative march past at the regional capital ceremonial grounds to mark Workers' Day, annulled as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, glaring and sorely missed.
I look back with great nostalgia how it used to be when we used to go out to Room Daja, to the grandstand, to be part of the march pass. From there, we had already ignited the mood for celebration.
In the meantime, workers have been pondering on the significance of this year's event and how the health crisis has impacted the work environment.
What we do here to ensure that these workers are healthy is constantly advising them to respect barrier measures prescribed by the government.
While they hail strides made this far to rid the region of the pandemic, workers look forward to the time when normalcy would reign once again for their output to be optimal.
Over in Gaundere, the regional governor awarded medals to some deserving workers in a quiet ceremony to mark the 135th edition of the International Labour Day. And in the Manowo Bay, 6 B civilian personnel at the B Training Center received medals honoring them for their hard work and assiduity while serving at the center. These stories must be told.
In the absence of the usual parade due to COVID-19 and speeches given to honored workers, members of the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism have decided to do it another way.
This year we decided to have some discussions, dialogue with the personnel, and that's why yesterday we had a conference with them to explain to them what were their rights and obligations.
Dressed in the Commission's fabric, they communed together while reflecting on the theme as well as a quick fix to some challenges.
What management can expect from staff is performance, hard work, discipline.
It has been a positive change because last year we never even celebrated. And I thank the personnel of CNPBM.
The Secretary General of the Commission of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, Dr. Chi Asafo Cornelius, saluted the achievement and efforts of the staff and enjoined them to do more.
We'll definitely come back to hear the story from Gaunduri and from the Manowo Bay. However, there was some warmth there at the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, where a mini gala was organized to mark the Labour Day. Now, Labour Day celebration in Yaoundé today was absent the usual social gatherings, barbecues and dining. Unlike previous years, the 20th May Boulevard witnessed no march past, and in the different enterprises there was no celebration. Beatrice Ngom.
It's a workers' day well respected in Yaoundé. The doors of most public, para-public and private structures remained under lock and key. For 2 years now, there has been no May Day parade, talk less of celebrations in enterprises or in the ministries. However, this ministry chose to celebrate the day otherwise. They invited some public and para-public structures to join them on an excursion trip to the sugarcane plantation in Koteng, Upper Sanaga Division, a discovery trip which, to the Ministry of Tourism and Leisure, is in line with its vision to encourage useful leisure activities and promote domestic tourism in ministries during this COVID period.
This is the Ministry of Tourism's contribution in organizing a special leisure day for workers, trying to ease the kind of gloomy atmosphere that we have been living due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Though the streets of Yaoundé were not clad in May Day colors, supporters of the SDF could be spotted assembling to go spend Labour Day with their party chairman.
In his May 1 Labour Day address, the Minister of Labour and Social Security stressed on the need to pursue efforts aimed at promoting without which there shall be no social progress. Gregoire Owena's Labour Day address also dwelt largely on work priorities in the COVID-19 age, stressing the need for a stronger response strategy in the face of the dragging pandemic. Beatrice Losamba comes back on the salient points of the Labour Day address.
The work world has felt the brunt of the coronavirus pandemic. As stock markets collapse, commodity prices fall, and trade declines sharply, there have been inevitably layoffs. The Minister of Labour and Social Security's May Day address did not miss out on such crucial details, hailing the resilience that sprang from these negative impacts to help the economy hang in there.
The support measures taken by the government have enabled the world of work to become more resilient, thus paving the way for a gradual upturn of the social economic activity.
And the minister mentions companies would have to be more innovative in their response strategies.
Companies must transform the health and safety committees and occupational medical services into real levers to be used as part of the global response against corona.
A coronavirus pandemic has not helped digress from objectives to provide decent work,
which is one of the major components of the social progress advocated by the President of the Republic.
Minister Gregoire Wona says the common dream to build healthy workplaces must be pursued collectively this year more than ever before.
On to the other lead story. 4 soldiers have been killed while one is at the intensive care unit of the Bafoussam Regional Hospital after an attack last night by armed men on the Mefun control post in the GALIM subdivision of the Bambutos division. Governor Awa Fonkar Augustine visited the wounded soldier at the hospital and made the following statement. He spoke to Ngu Henry. Let's listen to him.
About midnight last night, the military men who are working at village Manfen in GALIM subdivision were attacked by separatist fighters. And we've registered 4 deaths on the part of the military men, as well as one that is seriously wounded. That's the reason of my presence here this morning to visit the wounded soldier. And I'm seizing this opportunity to express the sympathy of the entire hierarchy to the families of the bereaved soldiers. It's again an opportunity for us to ask fellow Cameroonians the raison d'etre of all this. The head of state has stretched an olive branch and has requested for dialogue that is open to dialogue. Why do we continue killing ourselves in this manner? It is really regrettable and it's an act to condemn.
Really an act to condemn. Far North Governor Mijiawa Bakari has assured inhabitants that security measures have been taken to secure the population of the region, with the security situation in neighboring Chad, which is not very stable for the moment. The governor, however, adds that the population must remain vigilant during the security coordination meeting in Maroa. Henry Ekambi, Tato reports.
The need to protect the people of the far north following recent tensions in neighboring Chad after the death of President Idris Deby was a matter of utmost importance in the regional security coordination meeting.
First is to reinforce the transborder security. Some of neighboring countries are facing difficulties, so we at our level we have to be more vigilant and to be ready.
The second wave of COVID-19 that has infected over 1,900 people, amongst which are 40 deaths, was also on the table during the meeting.
We have the vaccine. Do call population of the Far North region to go to different center to get their vaccine, because there is no harmful effect.
Far North Governor, the 6 senior divisional officers, the top military brass and other authorities in attendance all agreed the populace will have to collaborate for these measures to yield the expected results.
The National Gendarmerie has seized a huge stock of expired medications on a supply trip in Yaoundé. The suspect was presented to the public Friday in Yaoundé by the 2nd Gendarmerie Company in Mewulu Post, which carried out the operation. Kilian Ndifon reports.
A display of professionalism and moral rectitude by the Mewulu Gendarmerie Post in Yaoundé before a corrupt trafficker of expired medications.
There are 35 cartons containing 3,500 packets. The suspect tried to corrupt us with 500,000 francs. I arrested him and immediately reported to my hierarchy and to the judicial authorities.
Medication control experts are devastated at the danger of the trafficking.
We have established that these products are expired and dangerous for consumption. Multivitamins expired for 33 months and ibuprofen for 20 months.
The traffickers admit that they import the expired drugs from neighboring countries.
We buy these products at the end of the sell-by date from Nigeria and sell in Cameroon.
The suspect was arrested following a routine patrol on April 22, 2021 at Akondou in Yaoundé by the Mewulu Gendarmerie Post under the 2nd Company that uncovered the expired medications en route for supply.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
We cut into the second canto and talk about our sustained fight against COVID-19 pandemic. And today we go over to Nkongsamba in the Mongo division of the Littoral region, where the vaccination campaign against COVID-19 is going on. For more on this campaign, let's join Baldwin Sama at the Nkongsamba Regional Hospital with his guest, Dr. Calvin Bekolo. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Benin Bumagana. We are still in Nkongsamba, where, just like other parts of the country where we have ongoing vaccination against COVID-19, it is the same situation here in Nkongsamba, and we shall be discussing that tonight with our guest, Dr. Calvin Bekolo. He is a district medical officer here in Nkongsamba. Good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening, Mr. Sama, and welcome to the Regional Hospital in Nkongsamba, especially at this our vaccination post at the hospital.
How has it been ongoing, vaccination against COVID-19 here in Nkongsamba?
Yeah, so far we kicked off this immunization campaign on the 15th of April 2021. We started with the health workers, who were our main targets, and we have so far been able to vaccinate over 70 of them, although we are still below the fixed target. We hope that with time, because for now there is some hesitancy, we understand their concerns because they have been overwhelmed by misinformation over the social media, and we think that when we continue giving them the right information, some are still hesitant, then more and more are coming up now for their vaccination, and we try to use other strategies, not remaining here at the fixed station. So we also have 2 mobile teams in the community that continue to mobilize our communities to target and to vaccinate also in the communities, not only at the hospital, because the turnout here in the hospital in general for other services is decreasing. So these strategies in the communities are also helping us to catch more of our victims to get their shots so far.
Thank you so much, Dr. Calvin Bekolo, for all those explanations. Vaccination against COVID-19 is real here in Nkongsamba, and they are using this opportunity to encourage the population of Nkongsamba to turn on massively and have themselves vaccinated against the coronavirus. Back to you, Benin Bumagana.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama van Cayman. But stay on, Baldwin, to explain in the following report how and when any person who once tested positive for COVID-19 and got healed later on can take the available Sinopharm or AstraZeneca vaccine. Baldwin?
It remains a major concern for many Cameroonians, especially those who have once been tested positive for COVID-19. How possible is it for them to be vaccinated?
Yes, of course. Someone who has been tested positive for COVID-19 can still be vaccinated. But
health experts advise if you are suffering from severe COVID-19, you must avoid being vaccinated.
Any person who presents with active COVID-19 disease is not supposed to be vaccinated against COVID.
However, after recovering from the coronavirus, a period of 6 months must be observed before being vaccinated.
For them to receive their vaccine, they need to wait at least 6 months from the date of the positive result against COVID. Those who also present with severe disease or who have a fever more than or equal to 39 degrees should also not be vaccinated against COVID-19 at that moment until they have recovered.
Those concerned are advised to strictly respect these prescriptions in order to avoid further complications after being vaccinated.
Extension of the church building of the Sanctuary Maria Lourdes Montfebe Yaoundé has been laid by the Metropolitan Archbishop of Yaoundé, His Grace Jean Barga. A liturgical service for the activity took place this afternoon at the Montfebe Monastery. Details with Alice Mbe.
The project to extend the building of the Sanctuary Maria Lourdes of Montfebe, worth over 200 million CFA francs, is to beautify the church building and to increase the capacity of the church to contain more Christians.
We came to consecrate our new project of building this sanctuary, and we hope that in December we can celebrate the new sanctuary offered to Our Lady Notre Dame of Lourdes here at Montfebe.
In his homily, the Archbishop of Yaoundé called on Christians to mobilize themselves for the project to be a success.
I want to congratulate all the faithful, to the parishioners here, and I invite all the diocesan members to sustain this project so that we can show to God that we continue with great devotion to love Mary, the Mother of Christ.
The ceremony was also an occasion for the Archbishop to offer a special prayer for better working conditions of workers on this Labor Day.
Construction works on the complex of the Église évangélique du Cameroun in Yaoundé, worth some 400 million CFA francs, is well on course. The church's hierarchy, after visiting the construction site, made a strong appeal to faithful and well-wishers to help complete the building. As Beatrice Ngom reports, the hikes on the prices of construction material has moved the church hierarchy to ask for more financial aid from followers and people of goodwill. Her report.
Routing out at the Bricketerie neighborhood, not too far from the sports complex, is this 3-story edifice of the Église évangélique du Cameroun. On the site, workers are actively mixing mortar. Decking is ongoing. Initially, construction work on this complex to host a presbytery, guest rooms, and a conference hall was estimated at 400 million CFA francs.
We want to thank the Lord. He gave us the strength, the power to build that house.
Faithful and other well-wishers raised circa 170 million for the launch of the project. But today, with the increase in the prices of building material on the market, the initial budget of 400 million is insufficient. Church hierarchies is exhorting faithful and other well-wishers to dip their hands into their pockets again for a second time, as it will take more than 400 million CFA francs to execute the project within the deadline.
In sports, as the second phase of the Elite One in football and the 2 football championships kick off this Sunday, the Cameroon Radio Television CRTV and the Cameroon Football Association FECAFOOT have expressed their willingness to continue respecting the clauses of the partnership agreement signed recently between CRTV and FECAFOOT to broadcast some of the matches. Board in summer again.
A win-win partnership agreement between FECAFOOT and CRTV respected so far, an agreement between 2 houses to continue satisfying football lovers with the production and broadcast of Elite 1 and 2 football championships and Women's Football Championship every weekend on CRTV Sports and Entertainment. After the first phase of the championships, CRTV is looking forward to satisfying football lovers with top matches and specialized football programs broadcast every weekend.
In terms of football, you know, people like good actions shown in all the details. So every Sunday, I hope you should have a top match. And before the match, with all our consultants, and after the match, a sort of debriefing of the whole match. We are coming back on the main actions because CRTV Sports and Entertainment should be itself. That is to show actions, but also to promote sports in general and football in particular.
FECAFOOT is proud of what CRTV has done so far and hopes for the best during the last and decisive phase of the championship.
And now we think that it's a good deal because CRTV also will have to produce this show and offer this show to the telespectators.
CRTV and FECAFOOT get involved in a collective play style that will see many goals scored for a collective victory for both houses.
Thank you very much, Bodwin Samaf and Cayman. Here we come to the end of this edition of the newscast. At 8:30, you are going to get Atabadinoma for the news in French. I'll be back tomorrow for what is making news in Cameroon and the rest of the world. Once again, happy Labor Day.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.